Seen me playing Sonic Adventure 2 quite a bit lately, and you're probably wondering why. And it's because, well, I really love Sonic Adventure 2. I said Sonic 2 was my favorite Sonic game, and I don't know, maybe it still is. I've played it some more since then, but I wasn't having so much fun. Tends to happen every once in a while, and I'm in a weird mood and don't feel great, and it makes it hard to judge how much fun I'm actually having with the game. That aside, Sonic Adventure 2 is either my favorite game above Sonic 2 or my second favorite Sonic game right after, because I just can't get enough of it lately. There's just so much to do in the game for me to come back to, and I've also grown to really enjoy the Chow Garden too, which I was never a big fan of, and it's still not my favorite, but I really missed out on quite a bit of neat side content, and it's a nice change of pace from the main gameplay. So, why am I so addicted to this game? Well, let's start with this game's prequel. Sonic Adventure is basically what a sequel to Sonic 3 and Knuckles ought to be in regards to how the playable characters from that game evolve. While this is still a review of SA2, SA1 is important to how understanding why I love SA2 so much. Playing as Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles in SA1 feels like you're playing Sonic 3 in 3D, if that makes any sense. Basically, the same basic move set, the spin dash, Tails flying, Knuckles gliding and climbing, with special abilities added that make sense as the next natural step in the move set, like being able to dig, being able to chase a line of rings or a line of enemies, all that stuff. The thing is, Sonic Adventure also added a bunch of extra fluff in the form of 3 other campaigns that didn't really feel like they belonged. Amy's gameplay isn't bad, but it's really unexpected for a Sonic game, especially because of how slow it is. Gamma's gameplay is actually really good, but again, it's unexpected and doesn't feel like it fits with the other playstyles. Then there's big fishing and yeah. Sonic is widely seen as having had a rough transition to 3D, which is true, but has more to do with Sonic 3D Blast and Sonic R than Sonic Adventure. Sonic Adventure is great as a sequel to Sonic 3, and that's the transition Sonic should have had to 3D. So, what does a sequel to Sonic Adventure need to do? Well, it should take what SA1 excels at and evolve it to the next level once again. Sonic 1 hasn't aged well, and if it released today, it wouldn't have the potential to start a 30-year series. In the same way that Sonic 2 takes what worked about Sonic 1 and makes it even better, Sonic Adventure 2 does the same thing with Sonic Adventure 1, turning something that's just okay into something amazing. So, how does it do that? Sonic and Shadow's gameplay feels like the natural next step from Sonic and Tails' gameplay in SA1, with the same goal of getting from point A to point B, with some alternate routes that are harder to get, more satisfying to pull off. In addition to the same abilities, you can now light dash instantly instead of having to target, and you can even bounce to get higher, or if you have the upgrade, as Sonic, you can pick up an enemy and throw it at another. As your moveset evolves, you get the ability to do even better in previous stages and complete optional missions you just couldn't before. And not just with Sonic and Shadow. Tails and Eggman have the same goal as Sonic and Shadow, get from beginning to end, but with shooting abilities like Gamma and a slower pace like Amy. I've probably told you that I love Shadow '05, and one of the most fun things in that game is actually the weapons, and it's no different in Sonic Adventure 2. Your mech can shoot regular bullets, but it can also lock onto enemies and fire missiles at them. Both of these can be upgraded later on to have the bullets break stronger boxes or deal splash damage with the missiles. Finally, there's Knuckles and Rouge, who do the same thing Knuckles did in SA1. Now, I'll admit, the radar system is downright nerfed and it's kind of annoying, but the hints are still helpful and don't outright tell you where to go, like how Tikal does in SA1, which kind of kills the challenge in that game and makes it less fun. Most of the levels are still fair, except for Mad Space and Security Hall. The most infuriating part of Security Hall for me personally is the dialogue that happens right before in the main story. Eggman offers Rouge 15 seconds. She's 15 minutes. He says 5 is enough, and that's all you get. The challenge of getting them all in just 5 minutes is fine, but if you're playing for the first time or haven't in a while, it feels really unfair, and it makes Rouge sound stupid for not accepting the full 15 minutes. Mad Space, I won't even go into it. I just don't like it. The other stages, though, they're nice and open-ended. They give you enough room to explore and find some really cool secrets, especially if you have upgrades from later on. Speaking of the upgrades, getting upgrades later on lets you get to upgrades you might find earlier on. Level design aspects that might not make sense when you first get there, like iron boxes in the floor or a tiny temple that doesn't do anything, yeah, they're there, but if you use the later upgrades that you need for the story, it helps you get more that were in earlier stages or in later stages in places you might not think to look the first time through. Those unlock the full potential of those stages and make those early design elements actually make sense. Speaking of places to look, let's talk about how fun it is to explore the game and why that is. The game hides all sorts of things like animals, keys to the Chow Garden, and like I said, other upgrades in places you might not look if you're just completing the main story. The Chow Garden itself is a nice change of pace from the rest of the game. It has some cool mini games like racing and fighting as a sort of Zen-like pet simulator. Time only passes in the garden when you're actually in the garden, so you don't need to worry about your Chow dying from hunger while you're gone, or need to set your Dreamcast clock back every time you go to the garden because your Chow only ages while you're there. I could go on about the garden, but other things that make the game fun to explore, just play in general, is the combo system. While it's quite inconsistent with how and when it gives you points, it rewards you for chaining together actions like destroying enemies or running fast through a path, and it's quite satisfying to do those things even without the combo system. Sonic Adventure 2 is just a fun game in general, and I love it, and I'm basically addicted to it. You should definitely give this game a try. It's quite cheap on PS3, current gen Xbox, and on Steam. Even on the Dreamcast, it runs quite well. Anyway, that's my thoughts on this game. If you enjoyed, press the like button. Want to see more, subscribe. Want to support the channel and see videos early, join. And regardless, stay safe, stay cool.